We all understand the type of climate that we're dealing with. We're dealing with multiple offer situations.
I'd love to know sort of what's your why? What makes you tick? Why are you so successful?
Have a dialogue with your lawyer. Have a dialogue with your agent.
Both sort of passionate about sort of what we do.
Again, vet your agent to make sure that they're experienced and they're local. I like that idea.
No excuse to miss it on Saturdays from 8 to 9.
That's right.
WBZ.
And now, the show that gives you the latest and most relevant housing market news. Real Estate Radio Boston with financial expert Rick Shearer and legal professional Ali Alavi.
I've seen a trend where we deal with busy society. People have multiple jobs, etc. And I've seen a trend where people are saying, well, do I really need to show up to my home inspection? What do you say to them?
We've always encountered that problem. People don't want to take time off from work to go and be at the inspection, and we're happy to do it without them, but we prefer to have them there because that way, what they see on paper is kind of black and white. What they get at the inspection is actually the descriptions, the more in-depth and detail as to how things work that we can't just put into the paper.
That's a pretty important couple of hours.
Absolutely.
I mean, you're buying a house.
Yeah, unless it's your 16th house or you're an investor and you're going to flip it or do whatever to it, so you don't really care. You're just looking at the structural aspects of it. Then, you really should be there for that.
What advice do you have to some people that are waiving their inspection contingency? And typically they can still get an inspection, right? They're not waiving that they're not going to get one. They're just not going to bring up any issues with a home inspection.
I think that's how the waiver would work. Yeah, if they waive it, they can still do it, but whatever I come up with at that point is, on their dime. They can't negotiate things at that point.
I see it both ways. I see ones where they submit an offer and they say inspection for informational purposes only, in which case they preserve the right to have an inspection and they can't make an issue of it. I've had situations where they've waived the inspection altogether and they do an informal inspection, which really is for informational purposes only. But I think there is drawbacks of not adding a inspection for informational purposes only as a contingency in the offer, because I've seen certain listing agents sort of push back on allowing access to the property.
I would never encourage anybody to waive any sort of inspection just because it's there to protect you, because we're going to find things that you're not looking for. Even if you bring a contractor in, we're trained to look at all aspects of it and what's not right, what is right, so you get a different set of eyes. But if for some reason they can't have us in, there's definitely certain things that they should be looking at.
Let's talk about borrower paid for a second. So if someone wants to put less than 20% down, there's ability that they can take a lower interest rate, or the market interest rate, essentially. But then they have a monthly PMI payment. Talk a little bit about that.
Correct. So if you put 5% down, so you go see your mortgage loan officer, in this case it would be you, Rick.
Oh, yeah, sure.
And you would ask your mortgage professional to give you a scenario of different MI options. You're putting 5% down, so you can have a borrower paid monthly premium, which typically would be $50 to, let's say, $150 per month. You can also do a split premium, which is pay a little bit up front and then have a lower monthly payment of private mortgage insurance. Or you could do lender paid, which is where you would increase the rate and then the lender would pay a single premium of mortgage insurance. The lender will probably tell you that you need to pay private mortgage insurance as part of your monthly payment. And typically that payment can be, anywhere from $50 to $150 a month. So it's affordable, flexible. There's flexible options for borrowers looking for PMI. And it really solves a lot of problems, because if you're looking to buy a home, and let's say it's $200,000, you want to put 20%. If you have to put 20% down, that's $40,000.
Who's got 40 grand?
Right? Who's got 40 grand?
For a real estate agent out there that does not have access to a productivity manager, what are some of the couple of tips and tricks that you would actually offer up?
Well, it's funny. A friend of mine, Tom, one of our agents, he said there are a couple of ways. They're sort of like the two ways to success really are, one, time and market. So you've been at this for a long time like you guys have. You know what you're doing. You've developed a lot of experience, and you apply all that knowledge every day. The other way is sort of a shortcut, and that's really educating yourself. So one of the first things I always tell people is educate yourself. Now, we provide classes to the agents, but really almost every agent organization out there, whether it's around here, Greater Boston Real Estate Association, there are a number of them out there, they offer classes, either free or darn close to free.
Right.
And then there are a number of organizations out there that are online, and they really are offering free webinars. The more that you're educating yourself, the more passionate you become about what you're doing. So that's one thing I think that's really important, but something that gets skipped a lot, because really what we are is we're a group of people who are all really invested in customer service, is sometimes we forget about the fact that this is a business and we need to set our goals.
Right.
We need to know where we're trying to go.
That is such an important point that you make. I think a lot of the real estate agents, and we've had episodes in the past where really the focus should be on the agent itself, because that real estate agent is a company and a money-making entity in and of itself. So its brand, its name, its reputation, and its credibility on the street is really what determines their individual success.
I couldn't agree with you more.
Right? And so I think that's where that's such a key point for real estate agents.